Hey everyone, happy Thursday. Welcome to Virtual Vegfest Live. We're pretty excited because Kathy Hester, last minute, jumps in to save the day to do a cooking demo today because we can say that she is Miss or Mrs. Reliable. And that's amazing because she's in the background. And it's amazing because I didn't want to skip today. I definitely wanted to have a live. We're pretty excited because she's in the background. It's amazing because I didn't want to skip today. I have an echo. All right, so I got rid of that. Sorry. So let's talk about first Virtual Veg Fest. We have contests. It's October. I haven't even updated any contests. I'm completely behind, but I do know my Pass the Buck campaign for October is going to be Cows Come Home in Eastern Tennessee. And if you don't know about them, you should definitely look them up. Absolutely incredible. If you pay $1, donate $1 to Cows Come Home this month through Pass the Buck. I'll post links later today, hopefully. Then for every dollar that you donate, you'll get entered to win a prize from, I don't know, let's decide right now. Let's do Hodo Foods. So for every dollar that you donate, you'll win a prize pack from Hodo Foods, which is absolutely incredible. And if you don't know, like Cows Come Home, Randy, amazing, like incredible human being. So I'll get that posted today, and that'll be for the month of October. And at the end of the month, you can, you'll win a prize. And then for Sun Warrior, Follow Your Heart, and Crofters, don't even know. Let's see, just still like Virtual Veg Fest on Instagram and Facebook, and you'll be entered to win a prize from one of them, unless I come up with something different in the next few hours. And then, thanks to Plant Based Network, and of course, Sun Warrior has been sponsoring our lives this month, and you can get a 25% discount if you use the code Virtual Veg Fest in all caps. And the link is on all over our social media, so you can go find a Sun Warrior. Happy Thursday, Elizabeth. You can go find a Sun Warrior ad of post that we did, and you can find the link that you can click to get the 25%, which will be really cool. So Kathy Hester, over in Durham, not too far from here, 30 minutes or so, jumped in, gonna do a cooking demo. Just gonna make something quick, easy, cool. We're gonna talk about some cookbooks, talk about this cute little Halloween thing that she's doing. She's also going to be doing a special for our kindness membership folks for Virtual Veg Fest. She's going to be doing a special cooking demo in November for Thanksgiving, just for you. So that's a reason to join our kindness membership, which you can see at virtualvegfest.com. And if you shop Virtual Veg Fest, so you know the $5 kindness fee is now voluntary. It's a choice that you can make to when you purchase, either donate or not donate on all your sales. So that's what we're gonna do. Let's go join Kathy's kitchen. Hey Kathy.
Hello, everybody. I brought friends.
That's awesome. Kathy's ready for Halloween.
I totally am. I went to Target and got some really cool things. I don't know if you can see how much back behind, because I'm actually going to be doing two different Halloween cooking classes. They're not in my normal Kathy's Cooking Club, but they're through Chibo, which is affiliated with GE, I think. But I'm going to do a Harry Potter Halloween class and a Halloween dinner party class. And I'm going to be decorated up back here, and I'm going to be wearing a costume, and it's going to be super fun. And I think Helena is going to give you the link for that. And that's later this month. But it's Halloween. It's October 1st. 31 days of Halloween is what I say. So while I'm not cooking a Halloween recipe today, I am cooking something from Gluten-Free Vegan Cooking in Your Instant Pot that you may or may not know. It's called Atole. So what it is it's kind of like a creamy, delicious, warm corn cinnamon drink, which kind of makes our American brains just explode a little bit. But corn is sweet. I'm actually going to be using just some frozen corn. So if you are lucky enough to have some harvested corn right now in your fridge, this is the thing that's worth taking the time to cut it off the ears for, because it will make it super, super sweet and creamy. So I'm going to go ahead and change camera so you can see overhead. Okay. I just have about 2.5 cups of water. It really should be 3, but I didn't actually have 2 whole cups of corn. Now, you may be going, but you said this was from an boring watching the Instant Pot. So we're going to watch this instead, and Helene and I will entertain you. So we're going to also add about a 1/4 cup of cashews. If you can, do not use the big cashews, the whole cashews that cost like $12 a pound. Get the pieces and end pieces. You can usually get those at Trader Joe's, but you can also get them at an Indian market. And then we're going to take 1 cinnamon stick and stick in there. So I'm basically going to heat it until the corn and the cashews soften. If we were doing this in an Instant Pot, we'd cook it on high pressure for 10 minutes. And all we're doing basically by using cashews is creating kind of a cashew cream with it, which helps it be more creamy. If you are either allergic to nuts or you are on a diet that prohibits you having nuts, maybe they have too much oil for you, you could use rolled oats or steel cut oats, and you wouldn't have to cook it quite as long. So be aware, if you use oats, what's going to happen is it is going to turn a little bit into oatmeal. And so you're going to want to keep stirring to make sure the oats don't stick to the bottom. If you're doing it on the stove like this, if you're doing it in the Instant Pot, it'll be fine. So we're going to cook this for a little while, and then we're going to transfer to the blender. We'll remove the cinnamon stick. So it's really, really simple, and it's really delicious. So the corn adds its own sweetness, so you can choose to add sweetener of choice to your taste, which is what I almost always do. Today, I'm going to be adding some coconut sugar because that's what I have. Brown sugar would be more traditional, but palm sugar or coconut sugar is also good. If you are on a Sophos or no kinds of refined sugar, you could throw in a couple of like quartered dates in with this and then end up pureeing it and let that be the sweetener. So it's a really versatile little thing. So I think you'll enjoy it. So I wanted to mention this and talk about cinnamons. And also, I'm going to come back here, and I may change back and forth a little bit. But, okay. And let me look at this. Hey, Linda and Elizabeth. It's so good to have you guys here and to share in my Halloween love. So the book is the Gluten-Free Vegan Cookbook for your Instant Pot. And this is actually being sold through Virtual Vegfest. So you can go to virtualvegfest.com and get a copy. And then you can email me and tell me how you want it signed to you. So, and that would be postage is included for the United States. If you're out of the United States, contact me and I'll figure out how much it's going to be. Basically, you would just pay whatever I'm going to pay. So, and this is on page 152. And I think it's too bright for you guys to see that. Oh, and I think Helene may have already told you all that stuff, love. Did you type it before or after I said it? Probably before.
Before, but Deanna is on too, so let's make sure we say hi to Deanna as well,
Hi,
which is awesome.
Awesome. Yay. That's all I have to say. October 1st. I'm feeling it. So I want to talk about cinnamon a little bit. And also talk about supporting your local international markets. So do support them. So I get a lot of things at the Asian market. I get a lot of things at the Indian markets, and I get some things at the Hispanic markets. So, and I'll probably show you overhead on this one. Okay, because you'll see it a little bit better. So I'm going to show you. So this is the brand, and it doesn't matter what brand, really. This is from the Indian market. Now, what I want you to see is how hard that is, right? And for just a moment, I'm going to cover this. If not, I'm going to. So what I want you to see is how this is more crumbly. And you guys can hear it. This is what I get from the Hispanic market. And so it crumbles. Here's a better piece to show you because it is already super crumbly. And there's not a good or bad between the two, but it can help you decide which thing you want to use it in. So I have both. Now, when I'm making my chai concentrate, and if you're interested in that, you can find that on plantbasedinstantpot.com. I like to use the Hispanic one and crumble it up because I'm straining everything out anyhow. And I find that that gives it a little more surface to infuse, right? Because it's touching all the different parts. This is something that's really good for something you're not going to strain because it's going to stay together. Because when I was thinking about what I was going to make today, I thought I only had the other spinach since I don't have spinach. My goodness. See, this is why I don't do things after 4 o'clock. Thank you very much. Cinnamon that I knew it was going to break up and I was going to end up crunching on some cinnamon or something. It would be unpleasant. So this harder cinnamon is good for drinks that you're not going to strain, biryani, any kind of dishes. And that's why when you go to an Indian restaurant and you get something that has like whole spices in there, it's not going to break up the same way. And so we're just bringing this to a little boil. Oh, yay. I love all the waving.
Now remember, everyone, you can ask questions or comments about what's going on. I forgot to mention that, but it's almost intuitive. But if you have any questions or comments, or like which cookbook or what other cookbooks or what classes or whatever Kathy's doing.
Speaking of another cookbook that's on Virtual Vegfest that's perfect for fall is the Revised Vegan Slow Cooker. So even if you have the other older one, which is my very, very first book, here we go. Working with my nemesis, the induction burner. Well, it's just like it has weird numbers that don't coordinate with anything in my brain, right? So I'm always like, what's going to happen? But in the new Revised Vegan Slow Cooker Cookbook, there's like, I think 20 or 30 new recipes. All the photos are new. All the recipes have been rewritten a little bit. Now they have oil-free options. They did originally, but the publisher wouldn't put them in the book. Stripped them out of the book. Thank you very much. But now they are back. I just remember that phone call. Well, I think olive oil is healthy. Okay. Like, I'm pretty sure my people would like to have the option. So now you have it. And I think the air fryer book, I think, is on Virtual Vegfest. Helene, you may have to tell me.
That's a really good question.
It's after 4 o'clock. I know I have the Outrageous Oatmeals is on there. And yes, that's a really fun book. And it's good for the fall.
I'm going to go look while we're doing this.
It's okay. I'll do a little happy dance. And you can, guys, because it's me, you can ask me anything, really about anything, but probably about cooking is probably a better idea. But I was talking to Helene, so I know a lot of you guys are here in the Triangle of North Carolina. And I went to Wegmans for the very first time. It opened up in Morrisville, about 20 minutes from me. It's amazing. That's all I have to say. Amazing. I found pumpkin seed tofu. I found brands and things that I've never seen anywhere else in the Triangle. And I go to Sprouts and Whole Foods and all the normal places, the co-ops. I saw things that I would expect to see at like Expo East or Expo West. So that's why it's fun for me. I haven't been to Expo East in a couple of years. So it seems like they have a lot of the new vegan products.
Yeah, Wegmans is awesome. Wegmans is absolutely incredible. I've been going to them for many years because they're up north. So my brother lived close to one in Freehold, New Jersey. So whenever we visited him, we'd be like, let's go to Wegmans.
Well, even when I visit my best friend Dawn and her family live in Houston, Texas, or outside in Katy. And so her husband and I, like, we're both, he's like, making machine. And we're like, woo! We did 3 grocery stores in a day. And Rob and I were super happy. Of course, Dawn and Cheryl were kind of like, well, that's exciting. What are we doing now? you know?
And
But I'm, even if I go to a Whole Foods, like if I'm going to a Vegfest or a conference or something, I go to the Whole Foods in that city and I go up and down every aisles, because depending on what part of the country it's in, there may be things that I've never seen before.
exactly, I do the same thing because Whole Foods carry local products within a certain distance of the store.
Mhm.
So there's always stuff that, you're like, oh, look at this. What's this? I need to buy this and bring it home or fly it home or try it home or however we traveled. And yes, the air fryer cookbook is on virtualvegfest.com. So,
Thanks, Elizabeth, for looking that up,
yep.
by the way. And we're just simmering this for a few minutes. So, like, seriously, if you have questions. Oh, another thing, and I think Helene can put up a link for this, is many of you already have the Ghoulish Gourmet, a vegan Halloween e-cookbook that's got 25 recipes. That's my Halloween cookbook. And it's for sale on through Podia. So if you're interested in taking some of my normal cooking classes, so I do 2 a month with Kathy's Cooking Club and things like that. And you can go to kathyhester.podia, Podia.com, and or just follow Plant-Based Instant Pot or Healthy Slow Cooking Facebook page, or join my free private group, Vegan Recipes Cooking with Kathy Hester. You pick away. Go on Instagram. I now have a normal Instagram name, by the way. That's a huge announcement. Kathy Hester Cooks.
Yep.
You can find me there. And I'll talk about the classes coming up. But on that same store in Podia, I think you have to scroll all the way down, is the Ghoulish Gourmet ebook. So many fun things in there, you guys. And later this month on my Facebook pages, I'm going to be demoing my spooky green potato soup, which is on the cover of that book. I'm going to be doing that with Idaho potatoes.
What makes it green?
Spinach or kale or whatever you happen to have.
I'll go with
Um,
spinach.
yeah, and it's a good way to get little kids and picky eaters to eat greens. Like in the cookbook, I have Frankenstein milk. So it's cashew milk with a little bit of spinach for color in there, but you don't taste the spinach, but you're getting a little bit of it in your kids. And I figure a little bit is better than nothing on Halloween, right?
It's true. That's a great idea. And I mean, who doesn't like potatoes, right?
Tell me about it, right? Like, potato is the perfect food. And I do a swamp monster jackfruit gumbo in that book. It's a slow cooker recipe in that book. And in the Chibo class, I'm making it on my nemesis, the induction burner, with the proper roux. But it's like called swamp monster because it already, this jackfruit, it's kind of stringy. It's got okra and stuff. Then you're using black forbidden rice as the rice. And then you take some water and some kale or whatever greens you have, and you puree it, and it makes it frothy, and you pour it on the top of the serving bowls. So good. So good. So for Halloween, you need 2 things in your arsenal. You need a good frothy green something. And I know you've got kale or collards or spinach somewhere in your house. A little water. There you go. You can put that on the top of pasta and it'll look spooky. The other thing is eyes. It's all about the eyes. So like I make like deviled potatoes. So I take the little potatoes, cut them in half. I take a melon baller, take some of the inside out. You could either mix that potato with something, or you could put like tofu salad in there. I put a smoky avocado mousse, which is really good. You just want to put a little lemon in there so it doesn't get too dark and icky looking, unless that's what you're going for. But then think about sliced olives or a carrot with a slice of olive with a little something on it. Or even if you're just trying to make eyes on something smaller, use poppy seeds or black sesame seeds. And then you can take whatever you love to make already, and now it's Halloween. So it's just that easy. But I love everything Halloween. I'm deciding this is probably done.
It's been like 10 minutes plus, so that makes sense. Here comes the Vitamix, super duper
Woo!
Vitamix.
Well, I gotten recently the one that has the air disc, AERO disc, Aero disc, I think it's called, to make frothy drinks. So like Starbucks now has like all those cold foams that aren't vegan. Guess who can make all her cold foams vegan? Thank you very much. So if you have a birthday coming up, now first I need to get the cinnamon stick out. We had this conversation. Okay.
Yeah, make sure you don't put that in the Vitamix. We'd be starting over.
I don't know if we'd be starting over. It probably would just crush it. And actually, I'm going to take this down because I'm 5'1" and this is too tall for me. You have the option to do an immersion blender instead of pouring it in, but I want this to be really smooth. I do not strain this. You could, if you really have some serious issues with the texture, but if you blend it well enough, it just makes it thick and nice. Let me put this back here on the stove so I don't grab it. Let me let you see it from above a little bit. So see, it doesn't look like anything very special. You'll see it blend more from the side, and it's going to be loud.
Yep.
Oh, one thing before I do this, whenever you're blending something like this, really blending almost anything that's going to have some chunks in it, I encourage you to blend it low for a little bit, blend it medium for a little bit, and before you just go right into high. It's going to give you a smoother consistency. So the way I like to think about it is every time you break it into smaller pieces, it softens it up. How about that? So see, even here, we're not done. But usually about then, because in almost all my recipes, we're always talking about scraping things down.
Sorry.
Oh, that's not even my puppy. So, and I'm going to scrape out of the lid because all those chunky things get caught up in there. And I want us to have as much in here as we can. The other thing I just realized I forgot to do is to put in the sugar or the sweetener. And again, if you chose, I would probably start with 2 or 3 dates, unless your corn is fresh from your garden, to kind of give it that sweetness. But since I am not using dates and didn't cook any with it, I am going to put some of this coconut sugar in here.
So if they wanted to use dates, they would actually stop, Franny. They would take the pit out and put it into the water with the corn and the cinnamon stick.
Exactly. So for the same way we didn't have to soak our cashews, then we wouldn't have to soak our dates either. You could also, if you happen to if I had behind me some soaked dates magically, I could pop them in now. So it just depends on how you end up doing things. I'm not even sure if you can hear the racing people over this, but there's someone racing down the road. That's what that look was for.
Okay. That's actually not that bad sound-wise.
I think this is going to be close. I'm going to taste it. And then also the one thing I did not bring was a mug. So let me get, ooh, I know what mug I'm going to bring. I've got a really cool Haunted Mansion mug.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. We also just went to Home Goods and we got some Charlie Brown Halloween pasta bowls that we're eating all of our meals out of all month long. Okay, so let me taste this. I'm assuming it's good. I do that a lot. Yep. Oh, it's good. So you can kind of see. I'll let you see overhead. I can see that my internet is slowing down. You can kind of see this from overhead. Also, it made it a little bit frothy. And you got a piece of corn hiding in here. But you could even garnish it with a cinnamon stick, should you want to. I do not want to.
Now, if someone doesn't have cinnamon sticks in the house, can they just use cinnamon, powdered cinnamon?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You could, if I'm heating up things, it's my preference to use whole stick cinnamon because it's going to infuse the flavor better in throughout the whole beverage. But if you didn't have any, I just put some cinnamon in. Using the Vitamix, sometimes it'll break it down and distribute it evenly, but I wouldn't chance it. So I would, and even if you made it just the way I did, you could also sprinkle cinnamon on the top. So you get that aroma as well as a little bit of it every time you drink.
That's awesome. And I would say it's versatile enough that you can use nutmeg too.
Oh, totally, totally. Cinnamon is just what's traditional. My friend Jenny Field, who does Pastry Chef Online, and she doesn't have all vegan recipes, but she makes some for me because she comes to my Halloween party. So there's like a vegan Halloween cake and some other goodies in there that you might want to check out. She has the corny corn party every year, except for this year, of course. And so everyone brings something with corn in it. And I had brought a lot of things. And I'm like, I bet no one's had a corn beverage. And I went and did some research and it's just so good. And it's pretty wholesome, you know? And obviously, I think cashews aren't the traditional way to make it super creamy. And oats would make just a perfectly creamy drink as well. If you used oats, typically you're going to make what you're going to use, but you could store this in the fridge for a couple of days and heat it up again. If you're using oats versus cashews, it's going to break apart quicker. You could either add a dash of xanthan gum or ground chia seeds. And by ground chia seeds, I don't mean buy the ground chia seeds. I mean put those chia seeds in your spice grinder or your coffee grinder. And if you're using your coffee grinder, another tip, I encourage you to get a new coffee grinder that has two tops. One is for your spices and one is for your coffee. But you can run white rice through a regular coffee grinder that's been used for coffee. That'll take out some of the smell and the lingering coffee. Go ahead and grind up your spices or your chia seeds and then follow up with some more rice to kind of get it back. It's not going to be perfect, but if that's what you got to work with, it's good enough.
Right, and I have the dry container for the Vitamix.
And that works well as long as you have enough in it. So I actually let me see over here. There's a little body that goes with this. Cheryl got me this one to try, and it comes on Amazon. It comes with two of these and one thing that goes over it to grind. I also, because I do so many spice blends, I have a spice grinder that fits on my Ninja blender. So it gives it like extra power because I make all of my chili powders. And those are really easy to make too. And actually, this would be good with some chili powder in it too.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice little kit.
Aw, Deanna says she's a Halloween girl too. Do you guys have any questions about Atole, the cinnamon corn beverage that you're going to be drinking all winter and fall? Because there's something, even though it still has some sugar in it and it's still not, water, which is what we should all be drinking, especially me today. But it feels like a couple of levels above having hot chocolate. It feels a little more wholesome. And it's just kind of cool. We're always waiting for the latest drink flavors and stuff to come from Starbucks. And this is something that already just exists around us and we just have to notice it.
That's
I
true.
like that.
No,
Yeah.
I think that's awesome because I mean I actually have fresh corn in the fridge. That I
Mm.
mean, and then the sugar wise, agave, maple syrup, all
Date
options.
syrup.
Date syrup, right? There's brown rice syrup. There's so many syrups.
Yeah, you can use stevia or monk fruit in any form. So, like almost all of my recipes now that have sweeteners are sweetener of choice to taste. Because, stevia, you're going to probably use an eighth of a teaspoon,
Right.
whereas something like brown sugar, you're going to use a quarter cup to a half cup. And it all depends on you. So, and it depends on you or your senses. So, like if my corn is extra sweet, I'm going to come down on the sugar. If my corn is not so sweet, I can add extra sugar. And you can taste it. I could have just added half of the amount to begin with, tasted it, and made a choice. I knew since this was frozen corn, it was not going to be the optimal corn that you guys are probably going to be using.
Right. And that's what makes it so versatile is that, you can buy the frozen corn, there's still some fresh corn out there that you can use cuz it's fall, right? And then the sweeteners, I mean the cashews. I mean, I bet I was thinking about this, maybe even macadamia nuts.
You probably could use macadamia nuts.
I've got
It would be interesting, and I haven't tried it, so I don't know if this would work at all, but it would be interesting to try pumpkin seeds
mhm.
to see what would happen. I don't know if you guys can see, but way back there, I have two giant jars of pumpkin seeds.
Oh, I see them. Those are all pumpkin
Yeah,
seeds, huh?
yeah, because they're usually kind of expensive. Um, but I've been going to that bin store in Burlington, and I got all of those, I think, for $5.
Yeah.
So I'll be making all the things with pumpkin seeds this fall.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, so let's go over a couple of things. So we've got, I think, all your cookbooks on virtualvegfest.com, which is awesome. And what are those cookbooks?
Those cookbooks are, Elizabeth wrote, the vegan cooking in your air fryer, outrageous oatmeals, which is out of print. So this is the best place to get it. Um, Gluten-free vegan cooking in your instant pot, and the revised vegan slow cooker. And so when you buy through Virtual Veg Fest, not only are you helping to support me, you're helping to support them. And that's the only place right now you can get a signed copy of any of my books. So they're great to get for you or for gifts. And with the mail can be a little bit tricky. So if you're thinking of getting some, please do try to support them wherever possible.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then the cooking classes that you have. What's the one that's up next? Next.
Oh, okay, so I haven't listed Kathy's Cooking Club classes yet, and my Chibo, and it's chibo.io, and then you have to click another button to go to events. So it's when you get to the page, then at the very first click, and then it'll list all of them. I think it's October 23rd, which is a Friday. I'm doing the plant-based Halloween dinner party. We're going to make that Swamp Monster Jackfruit Gumbo that I was telling you about, and we're going to make a petrifying pumpkin pecan shake without any ice cream. So making these ice creamless milkshakes, a lot of you who watch me know that I make a lot of them. The recipes are going to be able to accommodate your allergies. They're going to be oil-free, whole food, plant-based, as well as we can work with some other options as far as refined sugar and things like that. But it's pretty clean as it is. And then on actual Halloween, hello, at 2 p.m., I'm going to do my Harry Potter Halloween party. So what we're going to do is we're going to make pumpkin juice from scratch, which is not juicing a pumpkin, contrary to popular belief. There's much more to do. So it's like apricots and pumpkin and spices all infused. It's so good. And we're going to make homemade butterbeer syrup. Because I don't know about you, but if you're a Harry Potter fan and you've gone to Universal, the topping in the butterbeer has dairy, and they won't serve it without. It's like a copyright thing. So you can make your own homemade butterbeer syrup. So we're going to be using some not necessary edging on the edge of treats for whole food plant-based, but but I'm giving you a whole food plant-based option too, which is not exactly the same. But we're going to be using some coconut milk and some sugar and things, and we're going to make this beautiful, beautiful caramel sauce. So you can make a warm butter beer, you can make a sparkly butter beer. We're going to be doing all those things. And then we're going to make my favorite treat of all, which is cockroach clusters. And don't worry, it's vegan. No cockroaches are harmed to make these delicious treats. But it's dates with stuff crunchy in them, and we dip them in chocolate. And they're really, really fun for kids to make. So what I'm hoping is we'll get a lot of kids who can't go trick-or-treating to be able to take this class and have fun things to do at home. I'm going to be decked out in my Ravenclaw best, and you guys can come wearing your house robes and with your wands, and we can sit around and have a great time.
That sounds incredible. I mean, dates dipped in chocolate. You had me there.
I know, and you can stuff them with peanuts, and it tastes like a Snickers bar.
Yes.
And
It's
so,
good.
yeah, and plus they're super creepy. So if you have boys, the boys are gonna love it because they do look creepy too.
Yeah, Elizabeth just said those cockroaches are the bomb. Adults love them too.
I know, I know. There's something really fun when you say that. People go, "Rrr." But then once you eat one, you eat like a few of them.
Yeah, that's
So I'm
fun,
hoping you guys will
honestly.
join me for that. I think I'm still deciding on one of the classes. I'm going to do a vegan cheese class that hasn't been, today's been a little bit crazy. I was supposed to have all these things up today, but I'm going to do a vegan cheese class, and I'm probably going to do some sort of maybe butternut squash or instant pot stew something. So if you're interested and you're not already following me anywhere, if you want, you can even email me at kathyhester@gmail.com and just say, what classes are you teaching? Can you please make up your mind? And that will make me make up my mind.
I know we always need that little nudge, right? To like do what we have to do. Like it's October 1st. I have to decide what the contests are. I have to pick winners for last month. How did October 1st get here already?
I know it's been really, really fast. Like on the one hand, it always takes too long to get to October for me because October is, that is my favorite month. But it just seems like spring and summer have just flown by. It seems like it should be like April 30th in some ways.
In some ways, yes. Pandemic ways, no.
Right, right. I don't necessarily want to live through them all again.
Right.
but and right now even our leaves aren't really changing that much here. I had to look around to make sure nothing happened today while I wasn't looking. And I'm ready for that like rich jewel color leaves and just a little more relaxing,
Yeah, I
I
agree.
think.
I mean, I like the cooler temperatures. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful out, and this was a lot of fun. I might make that drink because I don't want the corn to go bad. So
You're totally going to make that drink, and this is the drink that if you looked in the cookbook you'd be like, Yeah, that's Kathy making something weird again. But once you taste it, when you're drinking it, it tastes like something you've always had. It's really comforting and soothing. And again, instead of using refined sugar, dates work just great. And if you're going to make this, actually, I'll tell you really quick. You can get this book, Gluten-Free Vegan Cooking in Your Instant Pot, through Virtual Vegfest and help support us all.
Yep.
But in case you can't, get a pencil quick. You're going to do 3 cups of water, 2 cups of corn kernels, fresh or frozen, a quarter cup of cashews, 2 cinnamon sticks, and that's if they're small, but you use your best judgment. So then what you're going to do is put all of that stuff together in your Instant Pot, and that will work in a 3, 6, or 8 quart Instant Pot. Cook on high pressure for 10 minutes. Because it's an Instant Pot and because it's liquid, you're going to want to release the pressure a little bit slow. So don't just flip it over and have it go, because that steam is going to turn into liquid and burn you and things on your counter. So just tap it. Okay? I know that seems silly, but it will make you happier. If you're scared to touch the little lever, just use like a spoon, and you can be like a foot away from it. Then you're going to take the cinnamon stick out, blend it up, and add your sweetener. So you could have added maybe 4 dates to the Instant Pot and done its whole thing. Then you don't need to add additional sweetener, or go ahead and add brown sugar, coconut sugar, maple syrup, whatever you're going to do. Just remember, under pour, taste, fix it. If you over pour, then you got to make a whole other batch just to fix it. So just do a little bit less than what you think, taste it, then add the rest, then blend and enjoy. There you go.
And that's up on the screen.
Okay. And Deanna said her in-laws had nicknamed her the Crow years ago because how much I love corn. So it looks like it will have to be a recipe I make soon. Awesome. And please tag me on the picture when you make it. Your kids are going to like this.
Yeah, I think
Especially
that's really cool.
if you hand it to them and don't tell them it's corn. And it's just because the American mentality, we don't drink things that are made of corn traditionally. But I mean, when you think about the reason kids like corn, it's one of the 3 vegetables all kids will eat is because it's sweet.
Right, starchy, sweet corn. And I was thinking about that. That recipe is versatile enough to make a sweet corn soup. You would just have to put probably less water and more of a cashew cream into it.
I'm trying to
And
think. Or you could do a little less water and a little more corn.
yep.
I mean, I think you could still I try to keep most of the recipes, like to me, a quarter cup of cashews, because I have so many whole food plant-based people, that's pushing it a little for them. It's a treat level. You probably could even get away with 2 tablespoons. But I think if you just added more corn as the bulk, I think that would work really well. And another thing I want to try, because I had, when Fiction Kitchen was doing Nacho Mamas, we actually got some food from them. So good. And if you're in the Triangle area and you haven't been to Fiction Kitchen, they're doing takeout. Now's the time, because you
Yes.
don't have to wait forever to get your food, because it's a tiny little place. And Caroline is an amazing, amazing chef. And she has things that are plant-based as well as things that are super treaty, like chicken and waffles, deep fried chicken, and stuff like that, which are they're all of her food is good. Her healthy food, her unhealthy food, everything I've ever had there has been amazing. But I got the nacho cheese, and I suspect, because I didn't see her, I didn't ask, but I think she made it with corn. And I am on a mission to make a corn-based queso now.
Oh, how interesting. Right. The other thing with that to make it more soup like is you can use a base of unsweetened almond milk or unsweetened soy milk instead of
Oh,
water,
sure.
and that'll add to the creaminess.
And when I do things like this, so I actually make a tomato soup, and usually I make it in the hot blender, which is just like, it's made of glass, and you can heat things up in it. So you heat it up till it gets soft, and then you blend it. So I use a little bit of oats, a little bit of rolled oats, a little bit of cashews. But when you're doing something like that, or like we did today,
Oh,
this.
you froze, by the way.
Yeah. So when you're doing, huh?
You
Oh,
froze.
I froze.
Yeah.
Oh, I may still be frozen, huh? I'm looking up. Maybe not. Okay. Our internet here is being really weird. Cheryl keeps checking it, and the upload and download speeds are amazing. But this
Right.
happens to me every day. So what I was saying is, like, when you're doing something like this, you're adding cashews and water to something, you're actually making the milk. So like in my pumpkin pecan shake, you're making pecan milk and then adding pumpkin and ice and stuff like that to it. So it's a really easy way to not just keep going through all of your almond milk or any stores that you have. So that's why a lot of times I will go ahead and add something to, if I'm doing something, I'm going to puree and then just let it make the milk right there with it.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I sometimes do that in my smoothie. I also bought an almond cow, which I absolutely love.
You told me about that. I saw someone else emailed me about a different kind of nut milk maker. And so if they'll send it to me, I'll try it and I'll do a live. I've been using the soy Bella
Hmm.
and making soy milk because it's getting harder and harder to find unsweetened soy milk out
Really?
in the world.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
wow.
Well, in the refrigerated counter, I mean, there's always West Soy and there's always Eden, and
Hmm.
they've gotten quite expensive. But Silk unsweetened soy milk is the only organic soy milk they have, and
Wow.
they're
Okay.
yeah, I keep, probably this year and even a little bit in the end of last year, there might be two. There's like 4 cartons, and either you got there in time or you didn't. So I had actually had this soy Bella for years and hadn't taken it out or used it, and it's great. So if you guys are new and making soy milk for the first time, remember, even though it cooks it some in the soy Bella, I still cook it for 10 more minutes in my Instant Pot, and that makes it taste so much better. And if you're doing nut milks like Helena's, you don't have to do that.
Yeah, the almond cow is really cool. The only thing that I have is I have the byproduct of, like, we're using I do a cashew coconut milk. So I have a
Mm-hmm.
cashew coconut, like, meat, right? That I actually take and put it back into the Vitamix, and I add vanilla and a little bit of a sweetener, and then blend that up on high, and Steven will use that for his coffee as like a
Oh,
creamer,
nice. That's smart.
right?
That's
So
very
that I have a
smart.
use for, but the almonds, I have the meat from the almond milk, because you don't have to juice juice the almonds. You don't have to squeeze
Do
them,
the
because the
bag.
almond, right, the bag, the almond cow does that for you. But I have the remnants of, like, the almond meal that I was dehydrating and making almond flour, but I don't bake a lot, so I just don't need I just
So
don't need all this.
you're saving it for your friend Kathy. That's what you're doing.
Oh, but it goes bad.
Oh, does it?
It will
Oh,
go,
because
yeah, it'll go bad by the time, like, I'd have to see you like every 2 weeks, which is not a bad thing. But I mean, so we'd have to meet up like every 2 weeks because I make it weekly,
right.
minimum. Yeah. So I've made enough flour that I just kind of now I'm thinking of actually asking friends that have farm animals to see if they actually can eat almonds.
That's a smart idea. I wonder if at the Piedmont Animal Refuge, if they could, like, because you might be able to freeze some of it and just give them a bunch of that.
Right, something where I'm not wasting it. So I just I've last couple of batches have gone either into compost or have gone down the drain, and
Mm.
I just don't. I mean, it's organic almond flour. When I make it, I gave some to Taylor Street Sweets to make for her own use, but for Kathy. But yeah. So thank you. I mean, I want to thank everyone for, like, sitting in and watching us talk. Kathy and I could probably talk for hours, and you would just
It's
be
true.
kind of watching us. So there's a Marilyn. So hi, Marilyn. I'll add you to the
Oh, hi,
podcast.
Marilyn. She lives in Louisiana and she does amazing things with her dehydrator.
Ah, we
Like,
were
so
just
she,
talking about that.
yes, yeah. So she does amazing things. I'm trying to think of what she was like her. So we made tofu in class, and Marilyn was there. Elizabeth was there too, I think. Um, and so you have this leftover, just like you do with almond milk, right? Because when you're making tofu, you make a rich soy milk, and then you're straining it. And the stuff that's left over is called okara. And Marilyn dehydrates her okara, puts it in her dry Vitamix, and makes a powder and uses it as protein powder. How smart is that?
Wow.
I know. I'm like, it kind of blows my mind. She also just uses it in other things that like baked goods that she wants to add a little extra oomph to. But she's always teaching me a lot of stuff. She's great.
That's really cool. Is the dehydrator just sat in my house for a while, over a year, and then having the almond meal and making it into flour, which is really cool. I made kale chips a couple of weeks ago. They came out really crispy because they're dehydrated and with nutritional yeast and seasoning. But
Mm.
but yeah, just you know what I want to do? Maybe Marilyn, maybe we should do a live. I want to make my own peanut butter powder.
Oh, you totally could do that. You just make peanut butter and dehydrate it.
I was wondering if it was the peanuts that got chopped up and dehydrated, or if it actually had to be peanut butter and it spread that around and just dehydrate it and it becomes into powder.
Well, I think the thing is, I'm not sure you could pulverize the peanuts enough. I get, well, I don't know. Marilyn, have you done it? Yeah. And Marilyn said she also dehydrates the almond milk for almond flour. I knew she did that already. I guess you could dehydrate the peanuts and do it that way, but it seems. I'm so sorry.
It's funny because Steven just walked out the door and your dog barked. Mine
I
didn't.
know. Okay, he's going out. He's being very maxy. He must be done with a giant peanut butter bone. I just like stuffed peanut butter in there. I showed it to Helene. Um, but what I would probably do, I think, because it'd be hard to dehydrate through the whole peanut enough. You'd have to do it a lot longer. But I think if you just spread peanut butter out and then started chopping it up as it started getting together and then blended that in.
Yeah, she hasn't done
And
peanuts.
yeah, Marilyn said she hadn't dehydrated peanuts yet. But I think the peanut butter, because then already it's going to be smooth. So I think that's going to make for a smoother powder. That would be my guess.
Yeah, it's expensive. I put it in my smoothie, so I was
Oh,
thinking I want to do that myself.
and I'm going to come back and show you something if I can find it right over here because we're talking about peanut butter powder. See, this is why I have to be mic'd like this. You know, I took a class all the way downstairs in my house before. Look at this. I haven't tried it yet. Pumpkin spice pump powder.
Peanut butter fit. Okay.
Let me here.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they sent me some to try and do some recipes with, which I haven't done yet. But just because we're talking, I wasn't going to bring this up, but I'm like, maybe I should smell it.
Yeah, because that would be great for a like an apple cinnamon pumpkin spice smoothie.
Ooh, it smells nice. You smell the cinnamon, but you can smell nutmeg in here. Let's see, do they tell? They just say flavors. So what's in here is peanut flour, coconut palm sugar, spices, salt, and natural flavors. So it doesn't, it's not traditionally refined sugar.
Right.
But you could also do something. You could make date powder. So if you wanted to do something like this, so let's say you dehydrated, made your own peanut butter powder, you could add spices and you could dehydrate dates and do date sugar with it and blend it all up.
Okay, I'm
But
just
yeah, like what
wondering
is
if
it?
it actually needed sugar.
A lot of the peanut butter powders that are flavored do have them,
I
like the
know.
chocolate ones. I think it just depends on what you're going to do with it. So we're not necessarily the largest market that they're selling to, especially whole food plant based. Whole food plant based is a part of it, but I was about to say for the keto people, they can't do sugar. And that's why a lot of times we find things with stevia or monk fruit instead of sugar in something like this or in maybe a protein powder. So it just, gives them a larger audience to promote to.
Right, right. No,
But
that's really cool. Well, this
I
was
was thinking this would be cool too in like a peanut butter pumpkin spice latte.
up. Kathy froze, but
So
Marilyn, hook me up with Marilyn, please, so we can do a live on dehydrating because that sounds really awesome. Because pumpkins in the pressure cooker, puree and blender, spread on dehydrator, and then powder. Use that and add your own spices. Oh my goodness.
she's awesome. She is,
Yeah.
and actually, what's funny is everybody's wanting me to do a dehydrator class in Kathy's cooking club, and I'm like, Marilyn should be doing the dehydrator class, but who knows? I might do it anyhow, and she can give me some tips. I'm thinking I got a case of cooked pumpkin. I might try just spreading that out and seeing what happens. I
I
think
know.
it's
I mean, it's just, 8, 10 hours of your life because it's dehydrator.
but it's just like, but it's while I'm sleeping. That's why I love
Right, right,
appliances like slow cookers, instant pots, dehydrators, because you just go away.
right.
Like I made tempeh and I did there's a class. So if you go to kathyhester.podia.com, you can take the classes that got filmed live already. So you can take the tofu class or the tempeh class. The tempeh class was really fun, and I made like scarlet runner bean tempeh when I was prepping for that, because you can make, those of you who don't want to eat soy or don't want to split soybeans, and I may have a solution for that for another time, but you can use canned black beans because they're cooked exactly perfectly, and it's a perfect way to experiment with tempeh. Just another tip.
That's
They probably
awesome.
have more tips than they want.
Well, I want to say thank you. Thank you for jumping in and joining me today so I didn't go dark on a typical day that I go live because, stuff happens and you are incredible and I appreciate
Uh,
you and I love you and I miss you.
oh, big hugs to you. I know. I'll be glad when we can do something together, and maybe like it would be nice to hand you one of these because I want to thank you because now I have a tasty snack. So,
Exactly. And I always have ideas like whenever I do cooking demos, it definitely influences what I make for dinner. If it's not exactly what it is, like I take it and I go, okay, here's my base for what I'm going to do. And then I will typically throw what I do onto our Instagram so you can see what, I've created from whatever it is that has influenced me on that day. So
so I'm expecting some corn soup is what I think is going to happen.
it's probably I would probably go that direction over a drink, but the drink sounds really good too. But a sweet corn soup, putting a little bit of sweetness with a little bit of cinnamon with a little bit of spice would be
If,
pretty cool.
if you have ancho chili powder, I'd put a little bit of that in there.
I have cayenne.
Cayenne will be fine too. Like
Yep.
I need when we finally get to see each other in person again, I'll remind me and I'll make sure I'll bring you some homemade ancho chili powder. In homemade, I go and buy the dried chilies at the Latin market,
Mm-hmm.
dehydrate them until they're really crispy. After I've taken the seeds and ribs and everything out, and then I just put them in my giant, happy, high power spice grinder, and it
Right.
smells like magic.
Yeah, that sounds really cool. Yeah, I've been using a little bit more spice lately than usual because I'm not. It doesn't. It impacts me not positively when they make things too spicy. So, but I have been throwing cayenne and white pepper and into stuff, and it's the next day even more so. It's just like, oh, this is so flavorful.
Well, here's the thing too: ancho chili and guajillo chilies, and that's like Guajillo, I think somewhere there's. Those are two chilies that you buy. They're mild, but they have magical medium and dark flavors
Okay.
that really almost add more of like a rainbow of taste to something that might just have like more, like corn is a little more sweet.
Mm-hmm.
We added, that in, it kind of makes it a little fuller range of flavor.
Oh,
But you
that
can
sounds
have those.
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you want. That umami, like layers of flavor with the food that you're cooking. Even though you're probably only making something within like an hour, you can infuse so much flavor with the spices that you choose to use, which is what I
Hmm.
kind of, and but I don't measure spices, so it'll never be the same again.
Well, and I don't normally, if I'm cooking for a cookbook, I have to.
Yeah,
But like when people see me in my class, like, because I have little hands, and so I know where the tablespoon is and where the teaspoon is. And so I just pour it in my hand and chuck it in. It
that's
all works.
adorable. Well, Kathy, thank you so much for joining me today, and everyone else for joining us and asking questions or just making comments on what we were doing or what we're the last 30 minutes has just been us having a conversation, so which is awesome. I mean, it went in a lot of directions that I think people will get value from. So Kathy, I hope, I mean, I'm going to see you soon, I know that, so we'll
At
have
least on,
something at
yeah,
least.
on Zoom, if nothing else, and hopefully somewhere else. But thanks everybody so much for joining in. And remember, if you have questions, you can email me or find me on Facebook or lots of other places. And I look forward to hearing from you.
All right, thanks Kathy, have a great day.
Bye, everybody.
So everyone, thank you so much again for watching. Oh, hey Tammy. Kathy's in the background. I wonder how that works. I guess I can do that. There we go. Hey Tammy. Oh, it's good to see you. I wonder if you got your results back from donating blood. That's why baking is so hard. And you're a great baker. Cammy's a great baker. She's also in the triangle, just so you know. All right, so thank you once again for watching. We are back again on Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, where Afton Hughes from the Pig Preserve is joining us. And if you don't know about the Pig Preserve, you need to know. Just like Cows Come Home, they're kind of neighbors. They're both in Tennessee. The Pig Preserve is a sanctuary for an incredible amount of pigs, and they are living hog wild and happy on a lot of land over in Tennessee. And I haven't been there yet, but I have friends that have, and they've helped bring pigs there to live out in sanctuary. So we're really excited to have Afton on so she can talk about what's going on, and of course how you can donate to help the pigs if you so desire. So that'll be on Saturday, and then our Pass the Buck campaign will support Cows Come Home, which is they are supposed to be our presenting sponsor for Nashville Vegfest, which is happening October 17th and 18th in Nashville, Tennessee. But they're a sponsor of the event because they can't physically make it to the event this year. But we will definitely donate proceeds from the event to Cows Come Home, and that's why they're the Pass the Buck people for this month. And everyone else, how do I close this out? You need to wear your mask. So please, when you go outside, wear a mask over your nose and under your chin. Make sure it's not here and not definitely not here and not here. Just wear it correctly so that you're safe and everyone else around you is safe. Social distance, because that's important too. And vote. North Carolina early voting starts soon. Other states already have it. Virginia's already early voting. Get a ballot, mail it in as soon as possible, drive it to your voting poll place, do whatever you have to do. Vote on election day. Just vote. I can't impress upon you the importance of voting this year more than any other year in our lifetimes. So please do that, and make sure that you cast your vote because it's your right to do so. And you know what? It's not just the president. I'm just going to get on a soapbox for a second. It's not just the president that's important here. The Senate and the House. They make so many of the decisions that affect our lives. You want to see change happen? Make sure you put people in the Senate and in the House of Representatives that do the things that you need done. Because they can, if we get enough of a majority, whichever way you go, it's obvious which way I go, get enough of a majority, it doesn't matter who the president is because they can veto and they can override the veto. So we need change to happen. We need the environment to be saved. We need the planet to be saved. We need the animals to be saved. And we all need to work on what you're putting into your body that fuels you so that it's healthy for the planet, the animals, and your health. And is it perfect? No. But if you vote and more people vote, then we might be able to see change happen or put things back to where they were, which is important. So again, thank you so much for watching and letting me go on a soapbox for a second and come back off of it, because this is incredibly important. So have a great rest of your week. I'll see you on Saturday. I might throw in an extra live because I'm doing a health coach class with Howard Jacobson starting next week. And I want to share more about that, and maybe you want to join me too. So have a great one. Bye.